Hello everyone! Welcome to the Mania 7Q World Cup 2026 in the semifinals round. And in here, we are going to be having a very interesting and exciting matchup, I'd say. I think this is seed 5 versus seed 8, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there we go. It is indeed seed 5 versus seed 8, and I believe this is the first match of the weekend between Japan and Australia. This is Lively Peninsula, and joining me on the commentary booth is none other than Potassium F. Hello there, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great here with the first match of the weekend. A fairly late first match, would have to say. It's already 9 p.m. In Australia on the Saturday, so feels like I'm already halfway through the weekend, but this one is definitely going to be an interesting one. A loser's bracket match. As you said here, one of these teams is going to be eliminated right here. The other one going to be securing... Wait, actually, it's top 8, I think. Right now we're in the top 12, so top 8 is whoever wins this one and gets a chance at making it to finals, potentially. But two really strong teams at that. Japan with an incredible showing, just narrowly missing out against Indonesia last week in an extremely close match. But Australia been working their way through the losers bracket ever since week 1 here, and Australia as well, important to note. I think anyone who's been following their journey so far has been noted that Oct4 has been overseas for the entirety of the tournament, but this week is the first week he is back in Australia, back to his home setup. So hopefully we do get the best performances possible out of these two teams here.
I see. That's good to hear. Playing in your home setup is definitely going to be a massive advantage. So I think that we will be able to see maybe Australia in a more poised and a more consistent form, considering that Oct4 is back in the original setup. And I'm looking at the bans it protects. So a ban for Rice 2 makes a lot of sense. I mean, anything Rice really makes sense for Australia.
Yeah, absolutely. Japan still like one of the premier Rice teams in the tournament. They have absolutely insane levels of Rice. I don't think any team is going to be picking into Japan's Rices willingly. So Australia are going to go the other option, going to be focusing on the LN picks. And Japan bans LN1 in response.
LN1 makes sense too. Well, these are very these bans just make a lot of sense, and protects as well. Like they make a lot of sense for both teams in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Japan will probably open up there. I guess Rice 3. I mean EX1 is also a good way to open things up. So either Rice, I'd say one of them probably.
Yeah, I agree. I kind of feel like Japan can pick anything. Maybe they would not want to pick Rice 5 and 6. Those ones feel a bit less comfortable, particularly at the start of the match, but Rice 3, definitely something Japan should be super confident on. Rice 4, obviously their protect as well. They're going with Rice 3 first, saving their protect for later on in the match.
As expected, I'm not surprised that Rice 3 is what they're gonna go with, because you wouldn't want to open with your protect immediately, because that will eliminate your quote-unquote most comfortable pick at the very beginning of the match. And I don't think you'd want that. By the way, I think the players are in the wrong position. Okay, there we go.
Oh yeah, we got some player trades happening potentially here, but I do believe for this match now at this stage of the tournament as well, we are going to be seeing the exact same 4 players for every single map at this stage here. Australia, definitely through the entire tournament, that's been the case for them. But Japan now, at this stage in the tournament, these 2 players that you see on screen, Butanik and Suzuha, they start getting better and better and better later on. And now that we're in the semi-finals, I think these 2 players are going to be playing the majority of the maps here.
You know, I would have expected someone like Rain Lily to play instead of Suzuha, especially for the Rice picks. But Suzuha has also been really consistent on the Rise, so I guess it's fair.
Absolutely.
I have a feeling the reason why they're going for Suzuha instead of Rain Lily, they're probably gonna go for a more consistency-based and an accuracy-based route, which is fair. You'd want to capitalize on Australia's mistakes a lot.
Yeah, Rain Lily definitely one of those players that you expect to have like an incredible rice ratio, especially on maps like this, as you said. But with Butanic in the roster for Japan, I feel like Japan just wins the ratio anyway against Australia. I don't think Australia is particularly the most ratio-oriented team when it comes to rice. So Japan already winning the ratio, the only thing left is to avoid the misses, and Suzuha is more of like a physical player in that regards. Should be missing a bit less than Rain Lily overall. But we'll see how this goes. Japan's first pick coming out here, one that they absolutely want to secure as the rice dominant team.
So, looking at how this chart is going right now, I mean, I guess Japan wanting to go get this out of the way, which makes sense, because like out of all of the picks, I think the more chord stream oriented charts are probably the ones that Australia might have a little bit of a chance of taking, because it doesn't have like those shockable patterns that the technical picks would. But the accuracy is clearly just in Japan's favor right now, and that's another thing Japan will consider here.
Yeah, Oct did start hitting really early out in the intro there, dropping a lot of 200s down to 99.2. Lingstar drops the accuracy down as well, but still 99.4 is okay. The only problem is on the side of Japan, they are faring much better right now. 99.89 for Butanic, and Suzuha not too far behind themselves. This is a really strong accuracy advantage with 4 full combos still, but Oct does find the first miss of the match.
That is very unfortunate. Although, even without that miss, even without both of them, I don't think it would have changed the lead a little bit, because Japan is extremely just ahead in that accuracy range. So something tells me EX1 will make a really good pick just from this alone. And sure, EX1 has more patterns than this. The physicality aspect is already showing here. Like you can already see that Australia, I think, is having a bit of misreads and also some drops. So this is kind of bad news for Australia here, because I think they immediately just revealed the hole in their game plan or something like that.
Yeah, well, I think in the first place, this has been a fairly clear pick strategy for Japan. They were expected to win a map like this, but definitely looking good with how cleanly they're winning right now. Still 2 full combos for Japan, 1 miss each for the Australians. But as you said before, the misses really didn't matter whatsoever. This accuracy gap is really strong in Japan's favor, and they're off to an absolute statement start here. 1986 as a team score. And I think at the very end, Butanic got a 50.
Yeah, 50 or not, it really didn't matter. Japan's ratio is superior by a lot, especially Botanic with their insane 9 and 5. Suzuha having only greats, that's also something you should take note of. Australia's performance wasn't necessarily bad. I mean, they only had 2 misses, but you're up against a team that's extremely consistent and just really good at accuracy when it comes to rise. So this is not really a way to go about things if you're Australia. Like you should definitely avoid any rise-oriented charts.
Yeah, but I think Australia, they were already planning on not picking the rice whatsoever. That is why they banned the rice too. But they are going to be going for the LN pool, I believe, right away. Hybrids, not quite where you would necessarily go if you're Australia right now. I think the hybrids maybe slightly lean towards Japan, but the LN should definitely be much more of an even playing field between the two teams. The accuracy advantage that Japan has should be mostly negated, I feel like, on these LN picks. It's just which one do they decide to go for first is going to be the real question for Australia.
So, going for LN3. I just want to say this right now. I think Australia has to pick both of the LNs, like, as soon as possible. Because if you think about it, Japan, there's a second ban phase, right? I feel like if Australia doesn't pick both of those LNs, like other than their protect, they're gonna have one of those LNs banned. And that's going to be something that I don't think would help Australia's case at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially in a match like this where the LN picks are going to be so important for Australia. You really do need to save that protect for after. do not let Japan ban out the LN4 after this one and pick it up first. But the very first task for Australia before any of that happens is to get a point on the board. It is to be able to win this pick. This one should be one of them that Australia has really good chances to win. But Suzuha and Botanic is a scary roster to be up against in any type of map.
Yeah, I would have to agree there. Though I would say the LNs probably favor Australia a bit more. At least on paper, it should. Then again, though, Japan has shown that they can play LNs pretty well.
Yeah, oh, there goes Oct with a couple of early misses. That's going to give Japan a bit of a lead. But the accuracy on Japan not doing so hot right now. Neither player starting above 99. So this lead doesn't really eventuate to anything. Suzuha does find a miss later on in the map. Traded out by Oct again.
Oct's gotta get that consistency checked real quick, because they could have blown this lead a little bit more open. But the accuracy that Linksar has, and not to mention Oct is also pretty much ahead against Suzuha here, but that one miss is going to affect this lead a bit more. Oh, wait a minute.
Trader misses back and forth. Botanic and Oct finding the misses, but Oct does drop the accuracy more. Linksar does find the drop as well. Now Japan starts to have a bit of a lead, but everyone's missing back and forth. No one able to hold on to the combo for long, and that's keeping the score really close. There goes Botanics, and Australia has the lead by a little bit once again.
Yeah, Australia's gonna have a little bit more of a lead now, especially considering that we're in sort of a break section. But this isn't by no means safe. Both teams have been trading punches against each other, so I wouldn't really call this a safe lead by any means.
Oh, not at all.
Suzuha drops there, and Linksar trades. Oh, that's a bigger trade for the benefits Japan actually.
Yeah, Oct finds another misses. The misses are just piling up for Australia. The accuracy lead slightly in Australia's favor. So this lead is just being prevented from ballooning too hard in Japan's favor, but misses for Australia really racking up. Japan is trading most of them, but not quite all of them.
I think this part can benefit Australia again, especially if Japan can pick up the accuracy. There we go, like what I said. Botanic has sort of had some problems when it comes to the accuracy, but the consistency has been great. Sorry, never mind. I think Australia can take it. Oh, well, that's a team reset for Japan.
Japan's time to find the misses here in this last third of the map. Oct does trade one on the back, but it's 6,000 points in the lead. They just need to hold on to their combos now if they want to close it out. It is the outro. Only a little bit of the map left, and there goes Suzuha's combo.
Just like that, I think Australia should be able to take this Linksar with the only significant combo in this lobby, like above 2,000 here. Botanic keeping that composure well at the end, but those misses from Suzuha probably gave this win to Australia. 1-1. Though, I'm gonna say this right now. Despite like this win from Australia, it wasn't as convincing as the win Japan had in the Rise. So I have a feeling if Japan were to have a chance at taking a break point, they'd have it higher than like Australia.
Yeah, that is definitely going to be the case, but for now, it is a win is a win, as you were to say. Linksar being the difference maker here with a 968k. So Australia getting off on a decent start here. 1-1, keeping things tight, and that is the goal until Japan potentially starts to run out of picks.
Even though Japan picks their Protect here, Australia should pick LN4. Because if like for their next pick. Because if you think about it, if you pick LN2 right before the second ban phase, like what's the point, right? Because LN2 isn't getting banned ever at this stage.
Yeah. Save the Protect for after. Japan, on the other hand, is not saving their Protect. They don't care what Australia bans in the second ban phase, it seems. They just want to play their favorite map right away, which is, of course, the Core Jack pick. Japan is the Core Jack team, after all, and should, as we saw before, have a very strong ratio advantage on a map where ratio matters more and more compared to the other picks. So we'll see if Australia can put together some more combos in this one. A bit of a closer battle potentially for this, but you have to imagine Japan is very strongly favored on a map like this.
So this being a Korjak oriented chart, again I was expecting Rain Lily to play this, but I think Japan really wants to lean more onto the consistency side, which is fair. But then again, Australia has had some moments where they kind of drop a lot. So I think putting in Suzua here, like either Suzua or Rain Lily would have made sense either way.
Definitely, we can see nothing to complain about when Suzuha is holding a 99.88 right now. Butanic on the 99.94. Lynx are holding up with both of these Japanese players, but Oct is a little bit further behind at 99.5. That's giving a 4,000 point lead to Japan. But it's not by that much. 4,000, 3,000 points. Very recoverable if there is a mistake from either side.
Alright. It's getting further and further. Like the lead difference is, despite the fact that no misses have been dropped, mainly because of that accuracy difference from Oct 4 and everyone else in the lab, because Lynx are, like you said, has been holding really well. Man, I have a feeling if anyone drops, like even like one miss from Japan could switch this lead already. Just because of how Korjak cards are.
The lead is growing over time. 10,000 points might not be enough for one miss to be the difference maker now, as this AC difference seems to widen over time. Both of the Japanese players now well above 99.9, and all four players on the full combo. This is...
Imagine. Sorry, I just can't believe we're having full combos right now. There's no way.
I'm holding my breath right now. Someone missed at some point, you have to imagine, but...
No one's gonna miss. Don't worry, no one's gonna find the miss. I think everyone's gonna be comfortable enough. I told you, no one's gonna miss.
And you're absolutely correct. Oh my god, this Japanese score. We got the double S. The double S.
Yeah, double S.
200s. Zero bad judgments.
Hey, look, Oct 4 dropped 150 and 100. That could have easily been like one or two misses. So great job from Oct 4 to really be able to keep up and maintain that full combo. I think that was the right call to do.
Lynx are also with the 995k pretty much keeping up with Japan, a little bit behind the ratio, but a really, really clean score there as well. Australia's team score, even though it's semifinals now, even though so many teams are super strong, I feel like Australia's team score could absolutely beat out a bunch of other teams in this tournament left, just not Japan when they're playing like this. And oh yeah, you mentioned LN4 being picked, but there is one more LN pick that was in the pool from the beginning. EX2 is going to be the option.
This makes sense. This makes sense, actually. Well, now this will leave Japan open to ban LN4, but if Australia's more confident on on EX2, then I think this makes a lot of sense. I mean, hey, it's still up there Protect, so there's still one more LN pick guaranteed, and there are some of the hybrids that are still open. Then again, I wouldn't think that EX3 is something that Australia should pick, because I think we saw Japan picking it that one time against Indonesia. I think it's like one of those picks that, okay, let's let Japan pick that, and let's hope that we just take it away from them. So it's like, I don't think that's something Australia should initiate.
Yeah, I also agree. I don't think EX3 is the pick, especially when there's LN picks still up. Right? Australia should be picking out every single LN pick before they even start considering any hybrid type maps. Same as Japan. Japan also are going to be completely avoiding these hybrids until all the rights are picked out. So those ones are really going to be the last of the last maps that we see in this match. But for now, still going to be at least two, including this one. There should be at least two LN picks that Australia can pick. Japan is going to have a few more of them, their own rice maps though.
Alright, let's see. Let's see how this one will go.
This one, another one, important point. Every single one of these Australia picks is super important for them because we've seen how insanely good Japan are at the Rise maps. Those ones don't seem likely for a breakpoint anytime soon. But here we go. Some coordination, LN coordination happening right out the gates. These ones should favor Australia, and there goes the entire Japanese team, traded out one with Linksa. But overall, Australia favored out the intro.
These LN picks are expected to be Australia favored all throughout. However, how much is dependent on how consistent they can be. As, yeah, sure, in the previous chart, Australia had the clear-cut accuracy advantage. Right now, they don't really have that privilege. If you look at the accuracy, I think it's actually slightly favored towards Japan. Although very little bit. Oh, well, not anymore, I guess.
Yeah, the story of these Rice and LN picks are so far apart. It's so fun to watch. The Rice picks, everyone is so consistent with the full combos, coming down to accuracy battles, but here, in the LN picks, no one can hold the combo as Oct4 and Lynx are both finding the misses. Japan take back a little bit of a lead, but Australia continuing to miss.
That was a lot of drops from Australia, but as long as Botanic finds those kinds of drops, I wouldn't say Australia is out of the woods just yet. I mean, it's still at the very first. It's still at the very first half. This is nothing really. But you gotta yeah, that's the problem.
They gotta stop missing so much though at some point. These misses really gonna add up in Japan's favor. Suzuha does find the miss to trade, but Oct4 also misses. Australia is just trading 2 misses for every one that Japan finds, and now it's 17,000 points. Japan getting the team reset. But Australia has to hold on to their combos to be able to capitalize on these. There goes Botanic again.
Problem is those mini jacks. Those shields really hurt Australia's chances. Like, yeah, sure, Australia can have a little bit of an advantage on some patterns, but they've got to stop the bleeding on these kinds of, like, you know, parts, because it's gonna keep on coming. Well, it's not over yet. We've seen Japan drop a lot on these sections, but it's not looking good right now.
Yeah, Japan's definitely dropping enough, but Australia is just not there to capitalize on them. Oct4 finds a couple misses there, Lingsar finds the miss there. Botanic and Suzuha both finding the misses, but they're too far spread out. And a double trade again for Australia, even though no one is really holding on to much combo. This is looking like a dominant lead for Japan.
Kind of a shame. I feel like Australia may have had slightly better runs than whatever they had right now. But just like that, Japan is going to be able to take a break point. I think this could have worked a lot better than they hoped for, but okay. You know, if only the lead was a bit closer, those misses would have mattered a lot.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's the small differences, the accuracy lead for Japan helping them out a lot as well, as Suzuha maintains close to that 99%, Botanic as well. As in the end, I mean, the misses slightly in favor of Japan, the 200 count slightly in favor of Japan, but with the number of misses that we saw for either side, potential definitely to go both ways. It is just Japan getting the break point though early on in this match.
I wouldn't say it was slightly, actually. I thought that was a really big win, actually, from Japan on accuracy and consistency. Australia probably bans Rise 6 at this point. Either Rise 6 or EX1 makes the most sense. Because I don't see Japan missing a lot on those picks. Not to mention the accuracy is also there. I guess EX1, actually. I think it should be EX1.
I think Rice 1 might be a good shout, just specifically since they're versing Japan. I think it's kind of hard to imagine Japan scoring low at all on a map like Rice 1. EX1 also makes sense, as you said. That's a good ban. Basically, all of the Rice maps feel like a good ban right now from what we've seen.
There you go, Rice 1. That's a good ban, yeah, I agree. Rice 1 also works. I think Japan's just gonna ban LN4. And that's kind of the thing that I was afraid of if Australia didn't pick the other LN. Because now, you lost EX2, And this gives Japan the free reign to ban LN4. Unless they do a curveball and just ban EX2, which I highly doubt they would do that.
Let's see what Japan decided to ban. They're thinking on it a little bit, but I would be very surprised if they don't. Oh my god, okay. Well, color me surprised. They're banning EX3.
Are you? No, I don't think this is a good ban. Especially after winning EX2 like that. I don't think this is a good ban.
I will say that Japan should be very strong on LN4. I feel like LN4 is Japan's best LN pick out of all of them that are available, or out of all of them in the map pool, I would say. But I would still say that Japan should fare better on the hybrids anyway.
I mean, like, if you think about it though, at least LN4 is something that Australia is probably on equal terms within Japan when it comes to the physicality or the difficulty of it. But now they're picking something that's like a half or a stage harder. And isn't that beneficial for your team? That's why I didn't like EX3 as a ban. I thought that was not a good ban at all.
Yeah, I mean, I will say both teams are fairly strong when it comes to physicality, but definitely Japan should be a tier or two ahead of Australia when it comes to those picks. So EX3, interesting ban. But we'll see if that comes back to bite Japan. Now Australia has 2 LN picks that they have to work with for the remainder of the match. But Japan themselves have plenty of rice picks. They still have 3 rice picks for themselves if they want to go for them, which does mean that Australia now needs to win a rice pick if they want to come back in the match.
That's true. They've got to take a point on Rice. Like that's the outcome of this entire thing. They have no choice but to win in a Rice pick.
Will it be this one though? I mean, this one is very interestingly mapped. This one I can't really imagine everyone being super comfortable with. We will see misses, I have to imagine, but the problem is I could definitely imagine more misses on the side of Australia, and there we go, Lynx are coming out with an early miss here. These snaps are super uncomfortable, and getting into the mini jacks as well.
Alright, this is getting really scary for Australia. You see those mini jacks and a lot of those bursty rolls and something? That's the thing that Japan is really good at, and Australia doesn't exactly have the consistency early on, which is going to hurt their chances even later on.
Yeah, this is a super hard map to maintain any semblance of combo, but you really do have to if you're up against Japan right now. They are looking unstoppable on these LN maps, and Australia now praying that Japan messes up big time at some point. Definitely possible, but it doesn't feel like it's likely right now from them.
Alright, so now, I mean, it's a 19k point lead. This isn't like an impossible lead to come back from. But Japan doesn't really drop on stuff like this. And even if they do, it's going to be really clean. So it's going to take a lot for Australia to even get a chance at taking this lead back.
Yeah, it's just a rough one right now. As you said, I mean, 20,000 points. It's not unheard of to come back from this. It's definitely possible to come back from this on a map like this as well. But the real issue is the opponents. Is it Japan going to be giving up a lead like this? Well, that's a start from Butanic, a single miss, but that's a super clean one. It's not going to be enough to dent this score lead very much.
Yeah, Suzuha would have to drop like a lot more. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. In fact, the accuracy advantage alone, I think, just solidifies this lead already. So either way, I think Japan should be able to take this pretty comfortably. Though then again, Australia is getting a bit closer to Japan's pick, so I think that should be a good sign of things to come.
Yeah, definitely closer in terms of score gap compared to some of the other ones, but again, just Japan not giving any inroads for Australia on these rise picks. That was one single miss from Butanic, but that's still 987k. If that's going to be the vulnerability, so to speak, of Japan, then it is just a rough time. 2 full combos, though, at the top of the screen there, Suzuha and Oct. Butanic ends up getting the MVP regardless, and now it is Japan 4-1 up. Still just 1 breakpoint away, in theory, from Australia being able to tie it up again. But they are going to have to win a couple in a row right now. And they're going straight for their Protect LN2 right away, the one that should be, in theory, the most Australia-favored map in the pool.
That is in theory, but we'll have to see how that one goes.
Especially when we're getting to this kind of difficulty in the tournament semi-finals, the maps are getting harder and harder. That should benefit Japan as we go later in the tournament. These LN picks should look a little bit better relatively for Japan overall as we get later and later. And these ones, LN2 has been fairly uncomfortable for Japan in the past, but it's just whether or not they're going to feel the same level of discomfort and whether or not Australia can really capitalize on that one as well. And here we go. This one, a very important pick. Once again, Australia basically a must-win here.
They absolutely have to stop the bleeding now, because this is just going to keep on going.
And interesting accuracy start from Suzuha there, 98%. Oct does find a miss, but the accuracy from Suzuha keeps it in Australia's favor despite that. But it stays very close.
Yeah, Australia has no choice but to keep this this consistency they've been holding on some of the easier LN picks. Because Japan can be consistent when it's really on their favor, but Australia can't be letting those opportunities go to waste.
So far, good start for Australia. Still just a little bit in the lead, though, as Oct4 finds the miss. It gives Japan the lead by about 1,000 points. And there goes another miss for Linksa. This is going to be the battle. Australia still having the superior accuracy by a tiny bit overall, but that's not going to matter if they can't hold the combos, because right now, Oct4 with another miss, Linksa with another miss. It's Japan going to start to eke their way in forward again.
This is bad because this was Australia's Protect, and Japan, despite like there were many times where they didn't have the act lead, now after piling up the combo, they seem to have taken control of this chart. But okay, never mind. Well, that is definitely not controlling the chart, but the lead is still safe. Oh, come on!
There's always the potential. None of the players are super comfortable when it comes to these patternings. Linksa does trade one of those misses, so it's going to stay 10,000 points in the favor of Japan. The accuracy lead is now up for debate, really, between the two teams. Linksa is a little bit behind the two Japanese players, but Oct4 is leading the pack. And repeated misses again. Linksa finding one more, third one in a row. It's going to be 15,000 points, and Japan are just not missing very much in this map.
Yeah, this is going to be... Oh, okay. But
not much time in the map, but that's a trade. That's going to benefit Japan just fine, because there's no time really to come back from this 16,000 points. Australia's going to need to hope for multiple misses. There goes Suzuha.
Oh, wait a minute. That might be the start of it.
Good. Is going to shrink the lead, but not by enough just yet, and we're the
wait a minute.
closing seconds.
Oh, that's one more miss. But Bhutan has been really consistent. Yeah, it's gonna have to be... Okay, yeah, Australia, unfortunately not able to win. Their Protect.
Yeah, coming close overall, but not close enough, it seems, as Japan just with the combo game No one managing to match up against Australia's 200 counts here, but 200 counts aren't going to matter much when we have the misses coming in, and Japan now already on match point, 5-1.
I think Japan's gonna pick. Wait, they're gonna pick Hybrid 3. Huh. So you ban EX3, but you pick Hybrid 3. Okay, I don't understand what's going on. But there are 4 picks, including this one, that aren't Rise. So I guess the thought process is, let's try to waste all the hybrids and the one Ellen pick that's left. And, the only thing that's left would be Rise. So I guess that's what they're going for.
Yeah, I mean, also in this position in the match, if you're Japan, you're 2 breakpoints up, 5-1, feeling confident in the match. So they are going with something a little bit less conventional, a little bit more risky, you would have to say, against Australia. Hard to imagine one of the Rice picks going wrong for them at this stage, but we're feeling the hybrids now. So we'll see how this one goes for Japan. The first hybrid that we're seeing in the match, and potentially an opportunity for Australia to put a foot back in this race.
Right, here we go. I think they're going for the shield route because we've seen Australia drop on some of those shields. So if that's the case, I think it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. The combo has definitely been in favor of Japan throughout this match. And this is a map that's very hard to maintain your combo on. But
yeah,
actually,
right on cue, right?
Yeah, the first miss going to Botanic is going to be traded out by Oct soon enough.
But the lead's actually slightly in Australia's favor. I think the accuracy advantage is on them right now. However, yeah, I didn't even get a chance to speak. They were trading misses here and there. But wait a minute, I think Australia might actually have a chance at this chart.
Oh, not with Oct dropping that much accuracy though, with those misses coming out. That's going to give instantly a 15,000 point lead to Japan. Botanic is trading, but all of these misses are being traded by multiple from Australia here. Suzuha, the one unscathed throughout this entire first half.
I think this big combo from Suzuha is the reason why this lead has been this massive. Like if Botanic was missing like that a lot, and if it wasn't any player that's not Suzuha, like it would have been very close. But that's really the benefit of having a player like that. Suzuha has been so consistent on these kinds of picks, and this is a good example of that. Even if Botanic drops there, yeah, Australia, I'm pretty sure you mentioned this in a different pick before, but everyone missed Japan drops. Australia's gonna drop like 2 or 3 times more.
That has been the case, at least so far, and in this map, no different it seems, as we're at the end, and it is going to be Japan closing it out. Suzuha with the full combo, I think, there. That is a score that is hard to beat here.
Yeah, that's an insane full combo. Actually, if you look at it through 100 counts, Australia does slightly beat Japan out there by 1-200, but that consistency propelled Japan to victory here. Like, I think if Australia had like a slightly higher score than what they had right now, they could have definitely won this. But that score from Suzuha, extremely difficult to beat that one.
Absolutely. And overall, I mean, Australia putting up some really, really impressive team scores, but mostly on the Rice picks, unfortunately. With their opposition here, it is Japan looking unstoppable right now in the losers bracket. They are going to be moving forward to verse, I believe, the winner of Hong Kong versus United States happening later tonight. So that is going to be an interesting one to see tomorrow, whoever ends up in that match. But they will be fighting for a spot in the losers finals weekend next week.
This is a great run from Australia. I mean, considering everything that happened, that was still a really good run from Australia. And Japan had an extremely good performance as well today, which they'll be waiting for their opponent soon. I'm not sure who their potential opponents are, but that's about it, really.
Yeah, that'll be it for us from now. I believe we're going to have a bit of a break now. It's a couple hours until we have the next match lined up.
Yeah, I believe it's going to be a show match, right? Or is it something else?
Yeah, 13 UTC, I believe, is going to be the next one potentially.
That would be correct. Yeah, there's gonna be a show match, it seems. So please stay tuned, everyone. Do you have anything else to say before we end the stream, Tashima?
No, make sure to come back because I think this weekend, looking at these teams lined up here, there are going to be a lot of really exciting matches. No more weak teams at all. Not that there were really any in the first place, but the teams are getting stronger and stronger as we're going here. And a lot of these, I think, are going to be hard to predict.
That is true, but that is Lively Peninsula and Tashima for this match. Thank you for joining us at the commentary booth and joining us in watching this match between Japan and Australia. And see you for the next match.